Good morning. Great gardening, everyone. Yes, it is me, Sister Raven, Mama Raven, coming back to you from the motherboard this morning. And we in our love gardening, right? We're gardening, great gardening. Love is definitely in the air. And it is a vibration that we will continue to keep going forward around and around. What goes around comes around, right? And we want love to be on that end. And we want those verbs that compensate love as well to go with that motion, right? That energy, so that we can have those great emotions, right? When we're feeling a little bit imbalanced, we're going to do things that will actually help us to get imbalance, to get balanced this morning. We got some tools that we're going to use. Naturally, what we have, right? And that's what we're going to do at that particular point. This morning will not include any tarot at all, right? We're going to continue on forwarding with the family law, right? And we know that we always have official business to take care of. So we do have some letters that we did not go through. This is Friday, February the 17th, 2023. And we're going to put that in notation that going forward, that this energy read, a divine message for us all, will be something that may be for that energy of today, or you may experience that going forward. But like I said before, we want to keep that in a good vibration, sending that forward with love and health so that we can accumulate that wealth from out of that health, right? That's what we want for this this year and all the years to come. So let's go ahead and get on the motherboard, which chakra we're dealing with when we're dealing with the energy that's presenting itself today, and we will go forward from there. Okay, so we came up on the dial is pointing directly to the red. So we know that's the sacral chakra, right? And then when we think about our sacral chakra, we can think about being rooted. And then we can also know that when we're dealing with the sacral chakra, we may have problems of infertility, hip pain, sexual dysfunction, emotional imbalance, creative blocks. Which foods we can offer ourselves to help bring some balance to that would be seeds, nuts, grains. Seeds, nuts, oranges, carrots, and pumpkins. Okay, so pumpkins, I'm going to say, hey, hold up. I'm sorry, y'all. I am totally off. The red is for the root chakra. Oh my goodness, the root chakra. I'm off. I'm looking at the side and I know what I need to be saying, but I am kind of off this morning a little bit. That might be the issue that I'm having personally. So I know where that is, and that will resonate with my crown chakra, right? Heavy is the crown. And I have been up for a little while, so I'm kind of off. Forgive me for that because we all are here to try to work on bettering ourselves, and that's what I'm doing. When it comes to using the wheel, I've been out of touch a little bit, so it's showing me that I need to keep going forward so that I won't lose sight of what it is that the divine is giving me to give to you all when I do come to you from the motherboard with all things corrected. We are dealing with the root chakra, which is the red chakra, right? We have colon issues, lower back pain, varicose veins, emotional issues surrounding money and security. Foods that we can use is beets, parsnips, rutabaga, apples, pomegranates, and protein, right? Maybe you can make your a beet smoothie or juice it if you want to, or make a smoothie with some of all of these things in it, right? So that we can get that balance back within that root for the collective. On the spill, we will go with the ruling planet for the energy what we're dealing with. Oh, that's a lot of energy. Okay, let's get that corrected. Okay, so we're not going to go with that. It's just not working. So, whatever the divine is giving, that's what we're going to go with. It's saying, no, don't use that. This is a general reading for everyone. So, make it just be that, right? So, I'm going to go ahead on because maybe it's possibly that someone in the collective really needs this information. So that's why everything is seeming like I feel like I'm on fast forward, even though I am not. It's like, please get to the law. Someone is wanting this. And they're like, please get to the law. Please get to the law, Raven. Please get to the law. All right. And we're going to deal with that accordingly. And then we just do an open flip. And whatever it lands on will be what we'll discuss. And then after that, I probably will have to use the cards that I created, handwritten, to see who it is that is possibly in need more than the others in the collective for this energy that comes through the family law. Okay, so here it is. We have a blank page right here, and we are dealing with child support. There's something, how did something get stuck up in there? That's a Leo. What else from the other read? I wanted to continue with the Leo. So on this page in the family law for paralegals, we have page 267. And that results back to a 6 because 9 and 6 is 15 and 1 and 5 is 6, so we got a double 6. A 6 here, and then we have a 6 in here, so then together that makes a 6, so it's like a 366, a 3 6s. Some may say that resonates with the make of man. 366, 6 carbon particles, 6 electrons and neutrons, right? So we're going to go ahead on and read what we're dealing with this morning on the chakra ward. We don't have anything to resonate as far as with the root, right? But then that could be the root cause of that imbalance that we're having. So it goes together. As we have seen so far, family law is primarily a matter of state concern. However, this changes when we come to child support, an arena in which the federal government plays an important role. The federal government, it did not say state. In the 1970s, the issue of child support came under an intense scrutiny. Studies documented that in almost half of the families with absentee fathers, no child support was awarded. And where awarded, amounts were generally inadequate, highlighting the problem in a dramatic way. One generally inadequate showed that two-thirds of the non-custodial fathers in Denver paid more in monthly car payments than in child support payments. Now let's get this clear, because I know a lot of people have all kind of opinions, emotions, and ideas when it comes to the act of putting someone on child support. Here in the book is stating fathers, but we know that there's some absentee mothers out there as well, right? And we're gonna accredit that to the both of them. There's no one getting away from this. Everyone could get it, myself included, because I have been getting my fair share of whatever I'm dealing with in my personal life, right? But that's none the less from what it is that the energy is presenting through the book, which was on the flip for chapter 6 of child support for those parents that are absentee, possibly paying more for their personal needs than what it is of the needs of their children when it comes to what the book is stating. Where orders were entered, there was a high rate of non-compliance. Census data consistently showed that slightly less than 50% of custodial parents received the full amount of child support they were entitled to, while almost 30% received nothing. So that's letting you know that even though that there's cases where parents are putting those non-custodial parents or those parents that are not, they're absentee on child support, that does not mean that they will get or receive anything from those court orders that had been rendered to that definitive in the case, the defendant in the case, right? So when we think about what it is that the court is doing, they're playing as a mediator in between the relationship between those two parents who possibly could have come to an agreement before it got there. Some people can come to agreement before it gets to that point, and then others can't. But then I can say, what would you do if that person is not even trying, right? And at one time they were there, but all of a sudden they left. You may have to get some help. That's what the court is there for. And to the extent of saying why courts were established, I'm going to take it back before we had an inquisition in life, not just on the American soil, because there's courts everywhere and there's different facets of courts, right? There's civil law, judicial law, and then we have the galactic law as well. I'm not going to forget that. Now, when we're dealing with the percentage of people that receive the payments, I'm going to say this: a lot of those parents appropriate those funds in the correct places. Some people misappropriate it. That's just the truth of the matter. And we're going to deal with both sides of the coin. And we're going to read just this page because we know that somebody in our collective is dealing with child support and is affecting them in their root chakra. We're going to see how we can plant some seeds of love to help them get past this situation that may be bringing them that imbalance, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help one another while we're here as much as we can, right? You might be feeling issues with your colon that can cause problems. And we know that when you're dealing with your colon in your root chakra, that energy can cause blockages. Now, if you get blockages in your colon, you're going to have to deal with what's called polyps. You don't want to get those because that's what's a form of cancer, and it can become a problematic issue for your health. Let me just do this right now because I know I started out and I had it on my mind. Everything was cleared in the energy, but I think there's someone who is watching, stalking, looking, possibly projecting energy towards me to not be able to speak so adequately, articulate the words right, pronounce them right, and get the message through. But I'm going to deal with that in my space. Yes, I'm going to deal with that in my space by burning some frankincense and myrrh, which is my favorite aroma when it comes to incense to burn. Great gardening. Let it be great gardening this morning. With energy, get back on path. Thank you all for tuning in, whoever is watching now or later when you receive this message. If it is not your situation and you know that someone is going through that, hopefully this will be able to give you what you need to be able to help them get through, right? And give them that support because they're paying that child support, or give them that support because they are not receiving that child support. And it could be weighing heavy, causing them problems within their root chakra that is giving them those issues with their colon, causing them to have lower back pain, or maybe they're getting varicose veins. They're having emotional issues surrounding the money and security. So that goes together. It is all together. That's the root problem to what it is. This child support. Child support from on the motherboard is showing that it affects the root chakra. All right. So they get me back in balance. That's specifically for me because I felt it. I knew I was going to need it. Okay, so the flower that we can give to those to encourage them who may be paying child support or have not received it is Indian paintbrush. And that's so necessary for this read. It's like everything is just coming together, and it feels good that these things are not something that came to me through the grapevine, right? Because we know that we can hear the messages through the grapevine, on the line, through the ether, when we're listening to recordings or when we're watching podcasts and we're seeing and hearing what the people are saying. And what I mean about seeing what they're saying, because there's chat groups like which could be presented to you today from me through this live that we're on. So it encourages us through the Indian paintbrush flower to take time and be still and relax into silence. It stirs creativity. It gives us inspiration. It helps us to deal with those matters of being passionate. It kind of makes us be a visionary and brings an artistic self of expression. And that's that Indian paintbrush, right? While feeling grounded and connected to our roots. It encourages us to find the need for the resources that will help us meet our survival needs so that we can live fuller, more creative lives. Right? And then I'm going to go with the knowledge that was passed down to me from my tree. You can substitute hibiscus for that red, for the Indian paintbrush, right? It's dealing with the root chakra, which is the red. So you can actually take the hibiscus that you grow yourself, if you have a hibiscus tree, and you can steep it right from the tree. You're going to get you some cheesecloth if you have that already at home. Then you're going to take a bundle of those hibiscus leaves and you're going to pull them and put them in that cheesecloth. And then you're going to tie a string of that cheesecloth around and make a knot and just put it in some water that was already boiling hot. You do not want to continue the boil. You're going to just place it in there and you're going to let it sit, right? And then after you let it sit for a little while, when that hibiscus tea is ready, you will see that the water had changed colors. And then you can add those accommodating things that we spoke of earlier, right? The pomegranate, the beets, some apples, if you like, the rutabaga. It has a sweet taste, right? Those beets are sweet as well. You can just make whatever you want with them. There's a lot of people that use the green bean salad. The green bean salad with the beets in it and the onions. You can just chop those things freshly, put them together, mix a little balsamic vinegar with whatever oil that you choose. drizzle it over it, add some kosher salt, Mediterranean sea salt, sprinkle it whatever you like. Just make sure that you get that in your life to help support that root chakra to get it back in balance, because we know that child support is a direct hit on the root chakra. Dealing with that this morning in the Love Garden on the motherboard. We're going to come like that, right? Raw energy. No scripts over here. I can just hear somebody say, "Oh my goodness, did you just hear what she said?" And yes, I hope you did, because it's live. I can't take it back. I can just only admit to when I'm wrong, right? But most of us won't, because we're in that energy. Some of us, because we're imbalanced. And that's what we're here on this motherboard to do, is help us get in back in our balance. Because it's a MIMBALANCE, and then we want to get in. So it's like I'm balanced, but you're not if you're dealing with child support. So we're going to go back with the read from the book. Between 1970 and 1981, a number of people in the female-headed families living below the poverty level increased significantly. So that was basically 11 years that era took place. And the term feminization of poverty was coined and underscore the fact that households made up of women and children were sliding into poverty. Underlining the concern about poverty was an increased awareness of the difference in post divorce standards of living between men and women with children. Studies consistently showed that the financial well being of men improved following a divorce, while that of women and children deteriorated. For instance, one study found that 17% increase in standards of living for men compared to a 29% decline for women and children. So, those studies showed that women were greatly affected when the father left compared to when the mother left. And I know that it could possibly be an understatement to what's going on with those energies that is in this rewrite, because we know it's so easy for men to find another woman. Sometimes they already have other women, and that's just the raw truth to the matter. And it could possibly be why they're now heading to that region where we're at on the 6th. And I just heard somebody say 86 that. No, we're going to continue. But we want to 86 the mentality that keeps this matter perpetuated, right? Because we created these problems ourselves. That's why we try to create a solution. That's what this is showing us. Now, I'm going to cut back to what it is that I got sidetracked on saying about that raw law. We didn't have to have child support when we were in our villages, right? When we were living as a village and not just in neighborhoods and supposed communities, which has no unity, right? Because Big Sis gonna tell it to you in so many ways. I've seen it in so many facets, lived it myself. And it's a problem on all levels, Right now, I don't care what income bracket you're at. There's someone on every level that's dealing with this issue. Oh, believe it's just more broadcasted about those who are below that poverty line so that it can be a deflection for those who are above that line, right? Because they have it to pay. So it's no stress on them. Or maybe it is because we saw someone who was of a high standing rank in the entertainment world as an artist complain about what it was that they may have to face with child support because they had a number amount of children with another celebrity. And it doesn't matter because that's a significant chunk of their income as well. So this is just a family matter. It doesn't matter what level you're on. This is the same type of devil that will meet you at that level. And then we got to think about it. Did I make the best decisions when I chose to walk away from this relationship and not work out whatever it was that needed to be worked out before child support came into play, with the court having a federal hand in it, not just on the state level? And I say, yes, you did. And I say, yes, I did. Because we made that child. Even married, if I want to go there, for stories that can be told, had help. No matter if we thought that it was Joseph or not, it still was a father, right? And he had to pay child support as well, and will continue. Father in heaven, mother in heaven, of earth and all things living, you have support to pay. And I just heard someone from an ancient, it's like a dial-in, said, oh, that government that gave you that law that you're talking about that you didn't have when we were in our villages, they owe child support too, right? So this is a matter we're going to deal with on all levels. Underlining the concern of poverty was an increased awareness of the difference in post-divorce standards of living between men and women with children. Studies consistently showed that financial well-being of men improved following a divorce, while that of women and children deteriorated. I had to go back there because women, we are the ones who suffer more, and that's what brought me to that point of that village, is because the men are capable of getting another woman just like that, or they may have multiple women already, right? So when one steps out, one's rolling in. There's no lack in that. And then we know that there's faithful men out there, faithful women that do not roll them in with the roll tide, roll them in and roll them out like that, right? That's a good look. Now, when we deal with the issue of a woman having a harder time, is because most women are not that easy to have another man when they have children for someone else, because it's a threat. Why? Because that's someone else's child that new potential mate may be coming around. But we know this matter is giving everybody the business in the root. Everybody involved with anyone who is on the short end or the long end of this child support stick. will be affected. Those who are the plaintiff, those who are the defendant, those who are engaged to be with the plaintiff or defendant, or even their families, right? Because we're still connected as a village, but we don't live as one. And if we were still living as a village and not just these communities or these neighborhoods or these subdivisions that we want to be in, these estates, right? Then there would be more than just that father or that absentee mother to support. That's a village living. It takes a village to raise a child. So, where is the village today? Has the village become just something of a standard in the book that our word did not have to have? We are the living word. But when our word stopped being our bond, somebody had to write a receipt. So you owe me something, right? Is what we all thought. Not just me, but me personally too. Because I'm speaking and I'm letting the ancestors come through. Ancestors come down. Because you're not down in the grave. For what I know, from what my ancestors said, before they even hit, they were rose. They rose up. They were a rose. Blossom. Full leaf. There's no discrepancies in the word that's coming through. Even when it seems like it's off, it's the right words. And I'm going to let the ancestors come down through my crown, which had to get settled to be able to deliver this message. And however long I need to go with it, that's how long it's going to be. And no, I'm not going to go and edit anything. I want you all to know that I have flaws as well. Because someone out there, oh, I feel you. I smell you. And I hear you. You think of me in a way with your obsession that says you can't stand me because you have a perception of me being perfect in your mind. And maybe I'm not giving you what it is that you desire. So that made you hate me a little bit. And that hate turned to envy because you have nothing to be jealous of me of. You already know that. Right? Now back to the words that's written. A federal level was given so that the growing awareness that many women and children were being forced to turn to public assistance, namely aid to families with dependent children, AFDC. I don't have that in this region where I'm at. Maybe you have that where you are. More commonly referred to as welfare. Never have I received it. Because they were not receiving the child support they were entitled to. And it's such a sad case, right? And that's why when these cases arise, gentlemen, it's so sad to hear you all talk about how you will avoid getting a job just so that you would not pay child support to that woman who you're still having discrepancies with, or maybe you're mad because you no longer have access to, or ladies the same way. It goes for both ways. There's deadbeat mothers and fathers out there, right? Welfare, because they were not receiving the child support that they were entitled to. The AFDC program was begun in 1935. So just think about this. Some of y'all have grandparents that were born in 1935, right? And now we in 2023. So just think about how long ago that's been. Through an amendment to the Social Security Act, its original purpose was to provide financial assistance to widows with minor children to enable them to keep their children with them. This is even more concerning than the matter of child support and like what's going on right now, because I'm thinking about placing myself in 1935 and being a widow and needing the AFDC program just so my children could stay with me. Well, what was happening with my children when I became a widow? So they let me know that they were taking people's children away. However, by the 1970s, the vast majority of families on AFDC required assistance because parental non-support rather than paternal debt. This sobering picture promoted the federal government to enter the child support field. Okay, so that's when they got into the child support field. In 1974, hoping to force absent parents to become financially responsible and thereby reduce the federal welfare expenditures. Okay, so now we have issues on all levels, because not only do we have the absentee biological mother and father, and then we have the matter of the federal government stepping in with their agencies like AFDC to help to keep those families together when they were widowed, and then obligating the non-custodial absentee parent to participate financially in their own biological child's life. But that's because they did not want that full responsibility. Now then, I will question, what were my taxes for? And now I'm coming out of the business side of my mind, knowing that all taxes that have been rendered to the state or federal governments have been used behind the scenes in Wall Street for some reason of investments. That's why we're able to get a return. And then I also heard someone say, tell this. You don't want reparations, right? For the injustice that was done to those who suffered through the act of slavery or being prisoners of war, right? Forced labor without compensation and harsh work conditions. That goes against every bit of the laws that govern labor, right? Child endangerment and neglect, abuse as well. We have to deal with the thought of that, from which they were acting as custodial parents. You had full ownership. supposedly by the right of your mind, which you wrote in your mind to be right, which was every bit of wrong because you know that you heard the cries of those who you beat down on. You know that you saw the bloodshed from their bodies when you brutally killed them. You know that you saw the awe of the community, the village, your slaves, your indentured servants without pay in harsh conditions. When you cut a pregnant mother's belly open to let her unborn fetus drop out of her for you to stomp upon its head as a symbol of being subjugated to humble themselves to you. Maybe she dropped an egg and you have 50 hens in the hen house with hundreds of eggs, but that one caused you to be so harsh, right? What kind of support to your children was that? Gal, come here, by, right, mister? Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. Right? Who wants to relive those days? But here we're going to deal with that matter on all levels because today I'm coming in the energy of the 6. And I'm going to let the ancestors come down and work through my crown and hold it. They say, you got it. You started off rough because you're looking, wear your glasses. You might need them to see a little bit better. And I'm going to say, it's a family heirloom. My father's glasses, reading. So I can read right what I'm seeing. So we know that child support has been violated on so many levels by so many devils, going way back before 1935 when the AFDC program had begun to amend widows so that their children could stay with them. But we're dealing with the matters of why it was ever put into our life at all. When we had a village, when one person fell off, the rest rose up. No child was left behind. We didn't even have to say that because we didn't leave anyone, so we didn't know about why would we have to say don't leave any child behind, right? We had communal tables. Everybody bought what they had together. We had one pot, one table. Maybe me and sis them was out there picking okra and green beans. Maybe we was snapping peas, right? You take a pea, snap it in the middle, then you pluck the peas out, right? You take an okra, you cut it at the end, and you cut it at the other end. And you make sure it don't have any strings in it. You're going to cut all the stringy part off until you just have what you have, right? Or maybe we were gathering the eggplant while mama them was already mashing up the potatoes. Daddy them might have been doing whatever they was doing, building, fishing, hunting, whatever you want to say for your type of village. Before we had communities without the unity that turned into neighborhoods, that began subdivisions, that desired to have estates, right? To separate ourselves, casting lots, building plots, right? So now we're dealing with, out of that village, we have the child support. The federal government had to step in. Once they stepped in and they set up a form of compensation for the widows that turned over to be something for those without a parent, because they have not passed away, but they're just absentee, they decided, oh no, that's too much. Because why? The middleman has to get his cut all the time. Now, back to the matter at hand. The child support. So many people think so many different things of it, right? There's nothing else for me to read. These bifocals. I do be needing them sometimes. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I be needing them. You know why I be needing them? Because I'm thinking about when I be reading stuff and I'm looking at it. Sometimes the letters, if it's a double letter, like a R and R, or a T and a T, or it might be or might not, it might look like one or not. And I be look too fast and think I done read something and read it wrong. So that was the message for me today, because these fell from somewhere they was put up, and I'm like, well, maybe that's what they telling me. I'm in that age group where I could start using my reading glasses. Now, back to the issue of the child support. We're gonna see, because I know this is collectively for all of us. I'm gonna single out somebody. I'm not picking on you. We just gonna see who. Oh no, what does over there say? I know I had 12 of them. And that then came out. What is this? Thoughts. Thoughts just came out the bag. So it's like the thoughts. And I think I'm hearing His Majesty say, be mindful of your thoughts, because your thoughts will determine your actions, and your actions will show your character, right? Thoughts. Before we get to the zodiac, we're on a mission to find out who wants to hear this, but I know it's something that's missing. But my thoughts on this is what I'm giving through experience, but not biasness. Because like I said, we all can get it. Everyone is included. And maybe that's just what it is, but I know that we're going to get through it. So to you all who are receiving this message, I send positive energy and vibration, and I call that positive energy and vibration that I send to you back tenfold, so that you send it back tenfold, and that we are sending nothing but positive love and energy and vibration back and back and back and back, and we're blocking and reflecting, and we're knocking out all of that negative energy that may be projected, that want to keep us bound by the throat chakra, because they know they can't weigh on the crown, right? And we want to deal with that on another level. And we want to know that our thoughts about what child support is, right? Because we think so much about child support in a way. That's probably why they came out, because I was proceeding to say that. Thoughts of child support. So many people think that single parents, male or women, are getting child support just out of spite, to stop that other person from moving forward. But if you're very successful, how could that stop you from moving forward? It's just a cliche that you have attached yourself to from ideologies of those who low vibrate. And it's a shame that anyone would have to contest someone else's decisions to have a partnership with that person who they created that child with. Now they're seeking mediation because your mama didn't want to help, your daddy didn't want to help, and then there'll be someone who say, well, you will, why you can't handle that on your own? You a woman, be a woman. You a man, be a man. Don't worry about what the other person doing for you. That's your children. You got them. Why your opinion even matter? Do you walk in that person's shoes? And if you got your children and you don't have child support to pay, and you with that person who you made your children with, that's the kudos to you. You should be even more sympathetic to them, because you're not empathetic, because you can't feel their pain. You wouldn't even say those things if you did feel their pain. And that's why I come to you all giving you my empathy through experiences and just what it is that the divine has given to me to be able to relate to what it is that you're going through, and put myself aside, saying, yes, you may be going through child support right now. You may be having those imbalances in the root, because we know that that's what financial insecurities or imbalances cause problems with the root. You having problems with your bowels, your colon getting pileups. You having back pains. A lot of other things that are imbalancing from that root could start from the root and go up. I was told by my elders that's the most easiest way for you to get infected. It's through your feet. And so we think about the root as being the womb, but that's just giving you fertility, but that's not your sexual cord. That's the sacral chakra. That's why it's called sacral, because the act between a man and a woman is sacred. What you do in your bedroom, you're supposed to keep it to yourself. And that's on a whole nother level. Now, what you did in your bedroom with creating that child, yes, you're supposed to keep it to yourself. That means handle your business before you get to the court, before there's an order or a judgment rendered on you, because you decided to not keep it sacred. This is just between us. Don't go there. This is what I will do for this. This is how we'll handle it. And we know on the other read that it was about disbursement of marital property. And then the other one was coming up for Leo, that's right here that I didn't get to go into. That was for custody. So now it's like everything is proceeding to the next because this was in chapter 5 and now we in chapter 6. It's just opening up like that. It goes together. So we know that it's progressing. So let me take Leo out of the book because Leo, your energy don't need to be in here no more. That's why I only had 8 zodiacs in the thing. Now I gotta find the other ones. But if I can't find them, I'm gonna give. Let me see. So I know I'm missing 3 zodiacs. It's not a Leo that's going through this. It's not a Virgo. It's not a Pisces. It's not a Scorpio. It's not a Gemini. It's not a Libra. It's not a Sagittarius. It's not an Aquarius. And it's not an Aries. So those who did not get called are what it is.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, you will go. All right. So I would have to call that on what it is for this energy. Let me see. Is it Taurus? And Scorpio? And a Pisces? That's out of the deck. That's possibly facing child support. And sleepy still. And that's where I'm going to have to end that and regain composure. My priority is my child. That's who I support before anything that there is in life. That's because the village that I come from is very much inside of me as a mother. And the village that I come from is still being a village, even though we're living in communities, separate, right? We are here and we are there. There's no more mothers living next door to their children, fathers and mothers living next door to their children, their sisters and their brothers. That's what I know my people say they come from. They should shut up. That's what they come from. That's what they used to. That's what we used to. Anytime you are in a village type of living, you can't take the village out of the person. You can take the person out of the village, but they're there. And those sayings, we don't want to get away from them. They're going to say it's an African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. But everywhere in life, there were villages. And if they full of their people and their culture, then of course that village is going to take care of that child because, like I said before, it had one table, one pot. Everybody brought what they had together. But then we had the facet of the federal government stepping in 1935 for different reasons. And then we know in 1935, definitely they were going through the Depression. If they say we're great, right? But now it's like, what's wrong? The sun in your eyes? You want to go wake Mika up? No. Let me fix your shirt. I don't know why you wanted to put this on anyway. It's gonna be time for breakfast. Yeah. So that's what we did. We lived in our village order. We made sure that everybody had what they were supposed to. We didn't um include anyone. Everyone was included. Bless you. That's the truth. So getting back to that, Pisces, Taurus, and who else I said it was? A Scorpio. You may be faced with child support. But don't let it burn you out. And I'm just saying it's you because you're not in the bunch. So your out is like singling you out. I did say that. That's what I was going to do. So you singly are out, the three of you. But it says, order my steps. And it says, oh, happy days. And it says, melodies from heaven rain down on me. But I'm thinking about it. Your steps need to be ordered with this because you got to think clearly on what it is that you're going to do with the rest of your life in order to handle your business when it comes to this child support award that you may be receiving or these child support orders that you are going to get that you have to pay. Take it how it goes. Let it resonate with you. Bless you. In the manner that it needs to be for your person, which is you. You're your main person, right? You only got one you. You're your main person. And then when you create these little people, they become a secondary part of you. That's the extension of you. And they're extending life for you because they will give you what is called your legacy. How great of an inheritance is that? Because we know so many people out there are really, really having bad problems with their root chakra, right? Because they say it creates wait, let me see, imbalances. I don't want to keep in. With the lower back, emotional issues that surround money and your security is making you feel insecure. You like, oh, what I'm gonna do? Because with that shift of money having to go to child support, depending on how much it is that you make, now you thinking like what you have to do. Your whole life is gonna change. Now my whole life is changing. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that. You might be in a marriage already with somebody, or it could be you married to somebody and you have a child on the outside that you have to pay child support for. Any one of us, mainly the three that I called, right? So now that person who you're married to is going to have to be obligated to that too, depending on your state, because you made that child out of wedlock. Now, if you were married and you got a divorce and you're ordered to pay child support, that's because you're substantially capable of making it on your own from that relationship. That was part of the divorce settlement. We had that on a few days back, maybe a few weeks back, for what it was that was going to happen once you made that divorce was settled, and if any children was acquired during that marriage, the parental custody was going to be decided, who was going to pay child support or not, and the visitations will be established. But now we just dealing with the fact of how child support was started and the reason why and where it originated from federally during the Great Depression. It was a fund set up by AFDC to accommodate widows so that their children won't get taken away. No, don't do it. You know I recorded it. They gonna say this is the first time we see somebody with a child in there like that. Yes, because mine are important to me. And I'm not gonna wait just on no government to do what they gotta do. They're not gonna be hungry. And I can't say if it was left on the government they will ever be homeless. But that's what those programs are there for. Every time we go to the store, we're paying taxes. No one could go without having to buy something. So that's what those programs are set up for. But I know on the business end of it that those taxes don't just sit there being used, right? That's why we're able to get a return. And then I want to go back to that issue because to reparate what was a non support of a group who were in a custodial fashion under those slave owners. Why wouldn't they think that they owe? When no one in these days and times will ever work for free. Even volunteer workers get paid. Ask me how I know? Because there's a such thing called Red Cross workers for Hurricane Katrina. I myself asked, how do you get a job being a volunteer? I need something to do. I can't sit around and be depressed and think about what it is that we have all just suffered. My job told me that I don't have any employment right now. I would have to wait for them to place me. I need something to help me get through this pain. So what it is that I could do to help other people that are suffering like I am. Do you guys get paid? Oh, yes, we do get paid. I thought you guys were volunteers. Yes, we are, but we get paid. How much do you get paid? $15 an hour. What? That was in 2005. To volunteer? Red Cross? The Most High said, you have not because you ask not. And that information I had to ask because it's more valuable than what it is that I can read for myself because that information won't be displayed. But then we do know that there was a cleanup crew that came along again when we were affected in Louisiana with what? The Gulf spill. They were under the badge of volunteers, but they were workers getting paid. And most of the time, for either one of those events, it's always people who do not live in that state and has been directly affected by those disasters that will get the jobs. Even though that's off the subject of the support, that is still child support because anyone who has that birth certificate born into this corporation with those numbers and that seal on it and that civilly dead typed fashion of font that's used renders us under the custodial ship of our government. But we know parental rights could be revoked because there's an emancipation. right? But there's nonetheless, when it comes to us who are dealing with it, because we're enforcing these same rules upon ourselves, which we probably should be taking to a higher stance, so that we won't continue to belittle each other in our neighborhoods behind the support of our children or the non support of our children. To where we would have so much hate, jealousy, and envy, even debt behind it. I thought you loved that person. How could your love turn to hate so easily? Is it that you're living in the cliche of there's a thin line between love and hate, and you're letting that become your mantra, and you have crossed the line to the wrong side of negative thinking and turn it to hate? The line is thin, but there's still a line. You, as a human being, have to decide to or not to cross it. Just because you pay me with evil or you do evil to me don't mean I have to repay you with that evil. I can just simply walk away. But in this case, you cannot walk away simply from your own child. Now, what you could do, if you decide that you do not want to pay child support at all, you can sign over your parental rights if you're on that birth certificate. But if you're not the father on that birth certificate because you were not present or you decided not to sign, you do not have any parental rights. So you don't have to worry about signing away your parental rights. You can just walk away if you're that heartless. Or maybe you're dealing with the fact that that woman or man just don't want to deal with you in a way because of your behaviors. And it would be in the best interest of the child to be with a parent who is more stable in all ways, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Right? I know this message is for somebody out there because there are many people who go through this when it comes to child support. Now, maybe there are some women that out there that just want to have children so that they can get child support. But it's up to that man to know if she would have been that type of woman from the beginning. Maybe there are some men and women out there who order child support being spiteful because the other person has moved on with their life and they don't want to see them doing better. But then again, most of the reason is for that child being supported, whatever it is that you have to offer. How many of you would co-parent? How many of you would say, to avoid having to pay child support, stay here and we can all work it out some type of way? Maybe you have a house already. Maybe that house is big enough to where you can have all of your responsibility there with you fellas or ladies, brothers and sisters in all colors, religion. economical backgrounds, what you would want to call us in poverty, a poor, middle class, high middle class, rich, super rich, and the filthy rich, right? All of these labels that humans place upon ourselves, and we're just one thing, people. But when persons take things personal about decisions that they make, when it comes to keeping things sacred, we can see how easily things could get out of order. But I'm so glad for the village that I have that has been broken away from what government orders came down from those who inquisited on us. Right? And I'm going to say it's possible because they could not see why our village was maintained so well with what they thought was so little. But they didn't know when everyone came from each corner of the earth to that one place. When we put it all on the table, it was more than enough for everyone. Right? And we love the Lord that we say so much. For those who are religious with this government, that is the order. The church was the order of delivering what needed to be carried out. Right? Who was the head of the church? The family was. Because the family is the church. When you think about it, why am I sounding like I'm preaching? I'm not preaching. I'm teaching what it is that I have experienced. I don't need the book in front of me to know that that's what it says, that he was coming back for the church, the bridegroom. But who was the church? We all are. Well, who is he that was coming back? Is a spirit, Christos, is a crystal spirit, clear, Christ, Christos, Christos, right? No matter if you want to call on some other deities that have nothing to do with the true living word. We are the living word that vibrate, right? We have crystals inside of us. How many of you had a kidney stone? How many of you had a gallbladder? Not only that, we have metals there too. But the crystals light, carry burdens light. They are not heavy. What are the burdens? The things that we're talking about when it comes to the family. That's why we have family law. The only thing that begets business law. When you're dealing with the United States Corporation on a business level, you're going to get the business law first. But family law predates the order of business because the matter of the family had to be carried out like a business. That's why your household had to be ran as a unit when we got outside of our business of villages, right? And our tribal councils, our elders, to sit around the fire and talk about those issues. Now you got to go to your hut. We were once in the same hut. If it was a hut Our water houses, stone and brick houses, depending on what region you were at. That's why you had different styles of houses because of the conditions that you were living in. Everybody didn't have to have the same type of living. And if that was the truth, then you all who live over here, who think you know so much about our history, wouldn't go to a foreign country to go sleep in a grass hut over the water for weeks and enjoy that. You're capable of doing it. You'll be capable of doing it wherever it was provided for you in that way. Or we wouldn't have the knowledge of how to build mansions up at all. It's nothing new under the sun. It's just using different materials. You found better ways to formulate those styles. But everybody had their own style based upon what regions they lived in. But now we're building up styles of homes that don't include us having a village mindset of living in the community because there's no unity. We're just in neighborhoods and everybody want to be a hood without being neighborly. And what do they become? Robbing the hood. That's what they could call this, child support. There's a lot of men and women who support the child support, and there's a lot of men and women who are against it because they are not going through it. Either way, either end of the stick. You could be in this fashion. Well, everything is okay. You got power over that. You're living off the fruits of the Most High, the nine fruits. You're feeling like that non-ether being. You can overpower it. Man, that little child support ain't nothing to me. I handle that for my kids because I want to make sure if anything happened, it ain't on me that they saying that they going without. It's on him. It's on her who receiving it. While my child don't have everything they supposed to have through this child support that they getting, right? And that's how it goes. Nice shirt. And that's how it go. Now that I gave my child the support that she did, like I don't know. It's like if I get out the bed early, she got her own bed, same size bed as mine, full. She don't want to be in there. That's the support that I would give to mine, because it's so easy to support a child. I'm gonna get on that mothering part, that big sister Raven part, bruh. You got that baby you running away from because you didn't want that child. You was just laying up there having sex and you wanted to dump what you could dump without not doing what you need to do for that responsibility. Maybe you didn't think that you could do what you was capable of doing. That's because you probably wasn't with the woman who was the one who was supposed to bring your light into fruition. So when you get with somebody who can bring that light into fruition, if you already ain't had none, this is the face that you have to deal with. Yourself in the mirror because you wanted to dump and run around. But then there's something happened alchemically, that allowed that light to come through. Most High said, hold up, let me slow you down a little bit. But you didn't. Because you're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. But you can't run from yourself. No. Why you can't run from yourself? Because you always are with you, even if yourself is in the form of a child. Even if yourself is in the form of a child, right? Even if yourself is in the form of a child, you're not going to be able to run, because eventually one day they're going to come looking for you. And if you ain't paying no child support, hopefully that mother didn't make it, or that other father, sister, because you running from yourself too. Don't think I'm going to just get on the men. I got to look myself in the mirror. And myself, I see me and my sisters. I see me and my brothers too. But the side of me that I see in my brothers is the side that I know y'all act like y'all so well put together that y'all can handle anything. But the honest truth is that you hurting. We hurting. We all hurting. We still haven't got over our godparents, governing, ordering department, for their child support that they didn't give us from our ancestral work of being supposed slaves from prisons of war. Who mama they gave something? They barely wanted to give Aunt Jemima the syrup. They just took it away from her. And then we take stuff away from ourselves too. We take stuff away from ourselves too. Right? Because we'll say that our greats were not this, and then their greats were what we are, to give ourselves the bad look. Because we're trying to separate to get reparate. And that's the craziest thing. I'm not going to call nobody stupid. That's crazy. A house divided will fall. But how could we be united? Anything when we're so divided? There's alphabets for everything in group wise, and that's what we're saying here, AFDC. I can just speculate. Aid to family with dependent children. Aid to family with dependent children. Care. During the 1935s. That's in the Depression. And how could it be a depression? See, this is what I'm telling you. To read around the lines. They say read between the lines, read around them, in them, between, over them, and through. Under them, and below if you have to. And that's why I had to put my glasses on, because I started out reading wrong. I was saying the sacral chakra, but then I know why I'm so much on the sacral, because I'm looking at everything that I got on as my energy right now. But I know what was affected, my crown, and that's what's at the beginning of this video. I can tell you, because that does have a difference. What we put on have a difference. It's sensory. Can you hear the music? Can you see the music? Can you smell the music? You can feel it. It's just a thing. What I'm saying about the energy that's being presented through the root, right? Because that's what this problem caused. In the root, when it's imbalanced, that's because of financial issues. This is a financial issue. That's why it's so divine. I'm not letting no gossip talk for me. There's a man and a woman going through such and such and such. trying to fish for nobody. I don't have to fish on something that's so general. That's why it's in the book. So everybody can pick it up. Because they all, it's more than one that's going through it. I don't have to be statistical. We all know somebody. We all might have been somebody. And for those who have not, you ought to be so grateful. But be that support to those who are dealing with this issue of child support. They may have never been in a courthouse their entire life for anything. It's the first time they going through that. They don't know what to do, what to expect. They got all kind of emotions going on in them. They don't know whether they're going to survive after this or not. Because the person who they may be going to put child support on probably already threatened them. If you do this, I'll kill you. Man or woman. Or they might be so afraid of being able to pay child support because they barely have it. They don't know how they're going to make the ends meet once they pay. That's why they got so many people in back pay, because they don't pay. Right? Either or. Their picture will be up on that board when you go into family court. You won't see it. Now, my thing is, even on this low level, we know it's a financial imbalance that's going to come. What could we do to help our situation to get past the child support? And I had a feeling about something, and it's like, the Holy Spirit said, do this, and do this morning. Don't get off track. When I see my energy is off the chart, because when I plucked on the ruling planet dial, the whole thing just dismantled. And then I took it off the chakra wheel and tried to put it on there and plug it again. It dismantled. So it said it's all of the ruling planets. It ain't no separate one. This is universal. This is universal. You talking about collective? This is a universal read. Now, what I am going to do is, because it was like, use the motherboard. It's on your lap for a reason, because that's where we have our babies at. That's where when we have them, we put them on our lap. They're our seeds. Now we're dealing with child support. I didn't know we was going to be dealing with child support, but then we are. So the seeds that are on the motherboard that is planted is telling me, take everything off. Where is that? There's zones that does not have anything on them, right? These are words, love seeds, I call them when I was writing them. They're in different fonts and text styles to stand out from one another. They're in own individual things. What was given to me, because I've been clearing out some space, going through some things, and it was like, look at these. You forgot about these. Use these to reflect on the motherboard. And it was wherever the shells come in, little baby conch shells. See that? There's a conch shell. You know, when you make a sound, you hear the echo. It's a baby one. Use them to locate themselves. This is through the waters on the motherboard. They're going to wind up being where they need to be on whatever seed they need to be talked about. And we have willpower right here. We have justice right here. Well, this one is closer to justice because there's nothing in between them. But then this one landed on kindness, and this one landed on friends. There's 4 of them on the board. That's square. You got some issues that you need to square off with this child support so that it won't be imbalanced. We're going to plant good seeds. We're going to weed out what need to be weeded out. But we know that it's not just about us, because that's some support that we need from higher ups as well. Right? With child support. Let's talk about that. The GOD, the one they say is the sky daddy. Right? And our Christos lights. I'm going to let my Christo light talk to my GOD who's in the sky and say, Daddy, thank you for everything that you have done so gratefully right now, right? Because you have walked with me upon the face of the earth. You birthed me through your mother womb. Not your mother that you were birthed through, but your mother womb that you birthed me through. So here it is. I know you set up all kind of different things for aid. You got your team out there. They've been working for a damn long time. They've been working so damn long, their seats are withered. And you can see where the head indenture go at. Their arm posts are withered. You can see where their elbows sit at. They've been in the office so long. But we need some justice to be rendered for us, right? Because these things that you set up with this aid and these people who you got that are facilitating for us, they had to pull back with our dollars that we paying on our tax because they want to get their palms a little bit more greasy, right? So give us the willpower to not treat each other like these people who you have set up for us to be facilitated by has on both sides, because they're one body and work together as a collective. That's the collective. So for the universal people, we see that in this thing, right? What we dealing with this number 6 in this child support. And we need to be friends about what we doing before we even progress to the point of having a child. That way it can make it even more easier for us if we decide to not be together to discuss how that child will be taken care of. Right? So what made us stop being friends? Let's see. Get on to me. Okay. Somebody wasn't able to get that relaxation, but we know that that could be something that you need, relaxation. Maybe their mother or their father, who is their full-time mother, and their father has not had the time to relax like they need to. This is after everything is settled. And you're not being able to relax because somebody giving you the hassle about paying child support. Or you may not be able to relax because you're getting a hassle about when they're gonna receive their support. But then we have a nickel that fell out on tails, 5 cents. It fell out on tails. That's a Lincoln Monument, right? And then we have 3 pennies that came out. 1919, 2019, 1919. I might have to write that down. I'm gonna go look that up. 1919. That's a significant year, probably. That's why I would see it in that manner. And we have another penny 1998. We got, oh man, I can't see that. That's 2019. It gotta be 2019. Yeah, that's 2019. And then there's 1998. Heads up. We got 2 heads up. 2 that need to be heads up. That's face to face with each other about this issue. And then because we know we copper color, right? Any one of us could turn copper tone. Even y'all pink brothers and sisters, y'all out there putting copper tone on. Y'all already know it. You're putting it on the white kind, the green kind, and you're putting on the brown kind. I see you all the time. Because I love to be at a beach or the water park. And I know what y'all do when y'all out there in the summer. And then we got a 1 cent. This is on the tails part. Why this one? Okay, it don't look the same. It don't have no Washington Monument on here. Now when they changed this up, but it came out. This one is in 2000. This one is 2019 too. Okay, so we got 2 different 2019 pennies. I know what that means for me because I'm a coin collector. I've been picking up pennies since I was little. People didn't care about them. They threw them on the ground, and I used to stay going to the sweet shop. Let it roll on their behalf. Now, let's get back with the roll. Well, what else we need to be knowing? Okay, so gonna respect. Somebody is disrespecting somebody. Somebody used to respect somebody. Somebody is respecting someone's wishes. And I'm saying it like that because disrespect is not on here. These are all positive affirmations. But I know child support will cause somebody to disrespect you. It may make them disrespect themselves. And they feel that way. Somebody's saying, nah, why y'all even gotta go do that? You should have talked to me before. Well, maybe if you was able to be found, you wasn't too busy laying up with one of the number 2, number 3, then you could talk about what need to be discussed. And that's because right here, this is devotion. So maybe you were lacking devotion to your own child. That's why you're on child support now. Or you thinking about why you being put on child support is because you were lacking devotion. And here you go back one to friends. We already talked about that. And then we have protection. So whoever it is that feel like they're not able to relax because of this child support case, you're going to have protection because there's still justice there. But you got to have the willpower to get through what it is that's going on with. And then I remind you that kindness is definitely needed. If you are the one who have the ability to pay that child support, don't be spiteful and not pay it just because you don't want to see him or her happy with that child and you want to see them fail and struggle, and you know their financial situation. You knew what it was when you got with them, whether they was capable of handling a child by themselves or not. And you possibly could have been the one who provided a substantial lifestyle for them. That's why the courts ordered it, because that's what they do for their marriage. We talking about single, married, divorced, separated. None of us are exempt when it comes to the universal law. Collectively, we all are responsible for this because we carry a weight. The waters were clear before the word went through them. Ain't nothing troubled the waters. Are we the living word or not? That went across the face of the waters. We carried a weight. We made it vibrate. So we put our vibrations into that water. And that's why we got to have some balance. Look at this, on balance, and the balloons right there going up. And it went back to friends, even though I took it down. Now, we got 2 more pennies that came out. And they in a 5. You see this? It's 5. Look how they on here. See that? Crisscross, 4 corners of the earth. What we was talking about? That village and that center point. Making it balanced. That's what this balance is on here. Because no matter which way you turn it, them 4 corners still gonna lead to that same point, which I was telling you about the village that we had. Every 4 corners came to the center. And we brought what we had to the center so that we can bring balance to each other. We didn't have to worry about who was going to support who because we all supported each other. You take one of those blocks out the middle of that pyramid, that is a support structure. Will it stand? Well, we're not dealing with a pyramid. We're dealing with something that's so round, but it's flat. Now think about that. Because that's where our balance is going to come at. Now, we know that we got a 1998, right? We know we had a 2019. That could be significant when that child was born. Taking it out, put it right there. But it's all around help. This word right here is help. And it made sense because those 4 corners of our tribes coming together in that center was nothing but healthy for us. That's why they call us coming together communion, community, right? Because we came together in unity in that center. Now, I just need to see. Is a 2013. I think that's a. Come on, Dad. Ooh. Maybe it's the tone on them that got me. Yeah, that's a 13. 2013. Heads up. We know we had 2 heads up the first time, which was the 1990. Now we got a 2020. Somebody child, it was on the tail side, but that's a different tail side. It looked different. There was a 2020. Could have been a child born in 2020 as well. This one is 2019. That was the one that came up. No, it's another 2019. So we know that it's 2 children that was born in 2019 because we do have the Taurus, the Pisces, and the Scorpio. So it could be any one of y'all children. Y'all could have multiple children. It could be 5 children. That's what we're going to resonate this with, that copper tone. Now, this one got to be the 1998. This 1998 one was heads up, but I wound up flipping it over. But then when the other stuff came out, that's how it came out. So the 3 of y'all need to keep your heads up for what it is that y'all doing. Pisces, Taurus, and Scorpio, whoever is on whatever end of the 6 when it comes to child support. when we know we can turn that around. This is what this. Go look this up. Don't take my word for it all the time. Because I already showed you I'm going to mess up a little bit, but I'm going to correct myself. But I want you to correct me too. Because that means you love me. You don't want to see me do wrong. You want me to do right. Because those who let you go without correction, they want you out there head first, busting your ass. Hit your head on a brick wall. They want you insane. They want you to keep on doing the same thing and not getting a different result, which would be the definition of insanity. When we take it here, go look that up and see what that means. But we know that we got 6 coins on the board right now, and it's nickel, the heads, tails up. Now let me see what date on there. 2017. But he came on a Lincoln Monument side. Now, let's get some more to roll. Let's roll with it. All right. So, we got some forgiveness to do. We got some positivity over here. This is the forgiveness right here. We have to use our imagination. And then we have affirmations right here. Right? We got 2 more nickels that then came in. But I keep hearing Daddy say, don't take no wooden nickels. Don't take no wooden nickels. And I'm like, I got some wood right here, but I ain't even trying to take them for no nickels. But I know this costs something more than some nickels for me to buy. I don't want the wooden ones if they ain't gonna take it. Look at that board. You see where that stuff at? I ain't gonna make nothing up for y'all. I'm gonna let the energy work for itself. I want to convey the message right, but I won't delay it. So we know that we need to have willpower over our self. We need to be mindful of our thoughts as well that are helping to create our reality, because that's in our imagination. Some things could be just of the imagination, but don't let it be a wild imagination, right? Because we don't want to keep living in the imagination of those who cannot govern over us orderly. That's why we're sovereign ourselves, some of us, or we're learning how to become sovereign beings. Some of us already were born that way without a legal termination for that to be displayed. You just know what lines to cross and not to cross because we know how thin that line is, right? So, going forward, we seeing that is one more penny that came up here is up. That's a 2021. Somebody could have had a child in 2021. And then this one came, tails up, 1991. That child could have been born as well. And then we got another 2020. I know we already had a 2020. So it could have been twins born in 2022. There's just 2 in the same 2020, but all of them different. So I'm not going to ask for the energy to give me no more. Because it'd probably be so many children. Because all of us, it'll be millions of pennies on here. And I don't think I have enough for all the dates. If it is even that way. But at the same time, you guys, I want to make sure that you know that what you're going through it's not going to last always. You're going to be able to gain the strength that you need to get past this, right? Because you respect yourself. And then you gain in respect for that person for what it is that they had to do with this particular um action with taking child support. But you will have the protection if you feeling like you are going to be abused for this. But you gotta ask for that person to find some way for forgiveness if they feel like you wronged them. Maybe they will get forgiveness because we got something that come up on that. And just keep affirming to yourself that you did nothing wrong, because what you did was for your child. If you're doing it righteously, and whatever end of the six that you on, just know that you have to keep saying that it's going to get better. If you the one who on the end that's paying child support to somebody who is misusing that money, you got to affirm to yourself that it's not going to be like that forever. But don't try to do nothing second handly, backhandedly to that person, ill-willed to that person. They're going to have to deal with what it is. It's going to catch up to them. Have the willpower to not ill thought them. They call it bad minding. That's what you could do, because justice is already involved. If you already at this point, that's the justice system. But then we know that we got universal justice too, right? Let's take these corners out. I just need to come to roll over the waters and do what it do. What else we need in seeds? Okay, so we got double the willpower. We need to know that we got triple the ability to learn, because that's where it just came out. Learn is right here. Nothing's going to stop us from learning. We got more than the ability to learn. 3 times the ability to learn from this situation. That's those 3 people: Taurus, Pisces, and Scorpio, who missing out the state that is learning a lesson about all of this, right? Now, it's a hard thing to go through. I know so many people have a discord with what the court system is there for different things. You don't hate them on everything. You just hate them on the thing that put you in a defended point of view. That's what's real. That's what big sis have to let you know. Because guess what? If you this parent of that child and somebody do something harmful to that child, you gonna want justice. And if you uprighteous, you gonna go to the court. Don't lie to yourself and say that if something happened to that child by the hands of somebody else, that you not gonna go and press charges. Because I know I am. Because my first line of defense is to not harm you in a manner that you have harmed me. Because my soul gonna have to answer for that. And I gotta keep my hands clean. I don't want no blood on them. I'm a woman. I see blood every month. Now, what I want to do is make sure that we both come to some type of agreement. And if we can't come to agreement, then let each other be and handle it like it's supposed to handle it with our representatives, as far as them being our elders in our village or with the court. And that's what it's set up for too. But like I said, I know I could want to do something, but that's only if I'm already there and I'm in that harm's way too, while you harming my child. Because you harming me. They might have jumped in the way. Oh, yes, you're going to get it right then and now because we in the heat of the passion. It's called a crime of passion. There's no premeditation in that. But you go home after we leave court and you feel mad because you were ordered to pay child support. You ordered to pay child support. You get home, you start thinking about it, you talk about it with those low vibrational beings telling you how wrong and doggish that man or that woman was for doing what they did for you to take care of your own self, which is your child, which is your legacy that you will be leaving behind, other than that money that you chasing after, paper chaser, that they chop down the trees for to write my people I owe you with and call them dollars. Well, now you want to kill us behind it. Something is definitely wrong with you. And you might have a problem if you do something, because you're going to see how all of those tribes from the four corners of the earth come together and why, for who, and when, or what could possibly be. But that is where that is. Some cases get a jury. You got 3 times the 4. This is what? 12 jurors? To make things fair and balanced, right? 2 to 6. Right? And I'm looking at it. It's 12 coins all together on this board. I'm talking about the jury. If you do something behind this person because a account fell on protection, so somebody in this situation don't feel too protected to where we have to grant protection. And I'm looking at it like these 12 are these 11 are part of the juror, and I'm the 12th. Now I'm copper. Let me see if that's the truth or not. Or what we say. You see it on me? But it just looked like a bump, right? Now, when we get back to that, we proceeding with, there's 3 nickels. 2 of them on the tail inside. 1 of them is heads up. So I'm going to take that as those 3 that's learning a lesson, which were the 3 that are missing out of the deck when it comes to the zodiac that I created. Should I have double checked to make sure? No, because I was going with the energy. It's not scripted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Plus the 3 equal 12. But then look what just dropped out too. Learn something good from those you meet. So if you're just meeting me, thank you for watching. You are watching Sister Raven, Mama Raven, Big Sis on her motherboard, giving you what it is that you need, our family law, with the divine giving us the message by just letting the energy be received that's just flowing already, right? This is for somebody. It ain't for everybody. They know, but these three specifically, 1, 2, 3, that need to do 3 times the learning. Those 3 are 2 of them on the tail inside of it. And the one that's heads up is the one 2020. Let me see something here. If this is different, I know one thing. This is 2022. And what is this one? A 2017, right? So we got 2 in 2022, 2 in 2022, one of the 20, slow down, 2 in 2020, 1 in 2017. But we know that there's 2 Coppertone, which I refer to as these children who involved in this. There's 2 of them on here. One person is heads up with their situation with their children. 2 of you guys are not. 2 of you on the tail inside. That means you could be feeling bad and it's really affecting you in a low grade way that you're paying child support, or you can be feeling bad and it's affecting you in a low grade rate because you're not receiving child support. Whatever way that it is, you know what you're going through, right? You know what you need. We're going to offer support to you while you go through this issue with child support, or it may be coming up in the present. But get ready for that and have thoughts that will perpetuate your imagination to affirm what it is that you need to be able to forgive whoever need forgiveness in this situation, so that you can really get real justice, right? And my stomach growling because I have not broke my fast, and I'm not gonna break it. It's gonna have to digest what's already there. That's what's going on. If you hear any other stuff in the background, because it's quiet, and I hear those things that people are saying. I know I'm human. I know what I see. And y'all ain't that much different. We all have some similar thoughts. That's why we're capable of seeing others do some of the similar things, right? Learn something good from those you meet. If you are just meeting me for the first time, this is a good thing. If you need this information regarding you going through this child support, it's on a gold card. That's a good thing. Now let me see what letter officially we gonna go with. What are the rest of them? Uh-oh. We missing an LL. What? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's the LL. So I know that we went through the LL, EOLLARS in the mail. Official business. Child support is official business. Maybe you gonna get your back pay in the mail. Maybe you gonna get that letter saying that you no longer need to pay in the mail. Are we talking about that? Maybe they're gonna be receiving your court date in the mail, but keep that in mind. But don't be afraid. You have the willpower to get through. You see that came two of the conks came on there twice. So that means you gonna have enough willpower to get you through this. All right. So we're gonna go with the A. DOLLARS in the mail. Letters. So well, what is this A saying to us? It says, do a random act of kindness. Sow a money seed. Offer your help to those less fortunate. How this don't go with that? These been wrote. I've been had these wrote. These been wrote. Right? Because when we dealing with dollars, we got to think about anything that could do that we could deal with dollars. Do a random act of kindness. Sow a money seed. Paying your child support. It's sowing a money seed to your child. How could they refuse that? And then you have the evidence that you've been paying. No matter if that parent who is custodial don't tell that child that you did anything for it, you will have the proof. So when you get the chance to explain that when they're old enough, not when they're children, don't put them in the mix with that. You did what you were supposed to do, and you have enough kindness within you, and you have enough balance within your life to let them know that you did what you were supposed to do. But then now you need to do a random act of kindness, sow a money seed. Randomly go to that court and put yourself on child support, brother or sister. If you feel like you're going to get caught up, you can go do it yourself if you got enough money. Don't wait till them people do it, if that's what you want to call them. Because they didn't wait for you to do it with that person who you had the child with. You ain't have them in there then. You sure really don't need them in there now. But now that they are, you can do it yourself. Because that'll make you look more upstanding than anything. And definitely don't pay child support for somebody that's not yours. And what course that is making y'all pay child support for somebody's child that ain't yours is because you're not contesting the child. Or you signed the birth certificate like a fool before you even could contest or ask for a DNA test. That's another thing that y'all do. Y'all will go sign the birth certificate for a child that you already questioning if it's yours or not. Because you want to be with that person so bad, you overlooking that spiritual bind. How you can't feel when you done made a baby? Maybe your mama didn't tell you enough about that. Maybe your daddy didn't talk to you enough about that. Or maybe you and your sisters and brothers, if you have any, didn't have enough of those conversations that was necessary to clear the air about how it feels to make a baby. We energy and motion, right? But now they here. So that's what the part we're going to deal with. This on the end part of it. Because this going to wrap it up. Do a random act of kindness. Sow a money seed. Offer your help to those less fortunate. And not just with this. Because this for all of us. Whoever else watching that don't have child support to deal with, this is saying that to you, saying that to me. Do something random for somebody. Why they gotta ask you all the time? That mean you kind of selfish. If they gotta ask you, she shouldn't have to ask you if she don't got you, if you not on child support to bring something for those children or that child. You should already be doing that every time you get paid. You gonna buy some J's for you. You know they feet growing too. If that's what you like, and you gonna make sure that they have what you like. And they don't even have to be some J's, because most of the time that is so superficial anyway. I don't care what level I'm on. I could become a millionaire tomorrow. I'd be damned if I go buy my children some Jordans just so I can keep up with the branding of my children, because I know it weigh heavy on their soul to have them, just so some rest of the world could look at them and be like, oh, you're substantially this, and they can be a well-dressed walking piece of shit. Yeah, I said that. I'm big sis right now. And I'm trying to make sure that grandma don't come through. Because to some of y'all, I would be y'all grandma. I can be the grandmother to my child. Now, offering. They shouldn't have to ask you for what you know you need to do. You know you like to eat good, they should be eating good too right there with you. Even if they ain't going to eat all of it. And that's just the silliest thing. They multiple children in the house just because that one ain't yours. You not buying for that one. Now you're being selfish, and it just no. Let's put it like that. I don't want to go into too much of name calling. Well, I'm tell it like it is. Be Sister Raven. When it comes to offering, you know he need for them children. He don't have you on child support. You don't get them like you should. Because, girl, you too busy running around laying up with whoever you think you can to get what you want for you to be taken care of, right? While he got the children. Because I can't see why he got my children anyway. Unless I had to be out there bad. Or I just didn't want the responsibility of a child with facing myself in the mirror for having a abortion. That's why some of y'all still have them. Because you just don't want the label of being somebody who aborted your child. You'd rather have them and give them away to their father. He got them. Now you moved on to the next. Offer him something. You selling something. You got a job. You making something. Go bring your children what they need. You know you like to make sure your hair done. Make sure theirs done. Daddies don't know how to do their daughter's hair like they should. They go to the barbershop. And if he ain't getting no child support, definitely you already know he's struggling a little bit if he ain't got no really big job, 6-figure job, right? Depending on how many children it is. As we already know, it's a heavy task for 2 people sometimes to take care of children, let alone one. When pride and ego get in the way. And they say, oh no, I'm not going to get this, or I'm not going to get that. And they rather struggle, and their children stomach be touching their back because they don't want to go get it this or that. But how you going to say the government owe you anything? Especially if you like this here and you trying to fight to be reparated and you scared to go ask for what it is you need for your children when it's already supposed to be yours anyway because you ain't get your reparation check yet. I be in my, I don't know what I am, but I can't think like that. I ain't got that much pride. Maybe I'm feeling like I'm too entitled, right? Because of my lineage and what I know that happened to my family. And I know what we are owed, right? For all the massacres that have happened in Louisiana, Opelousas, other places. I'm going to say that because I know I done touched my feet on that ground bare. Definitely. The New Orleans massacre. I know I'm going to say that because I done touched my feet on the ground there bare. It will probably even want to, if there was a picture to be seen, to shame me about that. But that's why I sit here in high honor now. I sit. I done stood enough. But I can sit and talk about it. That's why these 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I am the 12th. But I know who the 13 is. But we need to offer sometimes. Randomly offer. And it goes all together because this is doing what we need to do when it comes to what we dealing with the 6 and the 9. The 6 to turn to a 9. But if you in this opposite energy, then you can't be like this. And then wonder how I'm coming like this. Because I was born like this. But I can get like this. That's the other side that they want to see. The other side is here. This is what you will see. How I gotta come to bring it to you. Because I'm going to give you what they call it? A pleasurable pain to the left side of the brain. Like Pac said. Now, what Juvie said, my Nina's gonna ride with me. So, this is what we dealing with, child support. How many other ways could we support our children? Mentally, other than financially, spiritually, other than financially, holistically, other than financially, mentally, making sure we give them the positive things that they need as well as the guidance that they need when we're speaking to them, lecturing to them, or teaching them. Spiritually, giving them the information that they need to know what it is when they're dealing with all of the things in life that involves energy, right? Holistically, by feeding them the things that they will need to help their body contain their life for the duration of the time that the Most High already set them to. What I say about preset? Yeah, preset. We already come preset. Our whole existence. Excuse that part of me in this whole existence. It's preset. It's destined. What is destined? Preordained. Let me just give my pipes some room because the pressure. I know. I feel so relaxed. That's that relaxation. If I was tense, I'd be up like in alert, just coming to you. And all up in there, but just say relax. I feel that flow going through. Everything is right where it needs to be. And those things that need to be contained with me are being restrained. That's why you may hear my body, right? I want you guys to be concerned for me. Don't worry about me. I got me. The Most High got me. I got me and the Most High got me, because I got to do what it is that the word of the Most High is telling me to do for me, to keep me. But that's what that part of the Most High got me, is by me listening to the word that the word is saying. All right. Now we know that we can offer all of that support. And then financially, definitely have to be there. No, nothing is free in life no more. There's giveaways. It costs somebody, right? But is there for us to be able to receive who need it when you are in need. How well do I know it does not matter what financial level you are on? When something disastrous happen, everybody gonna be standing in that line. That's the definition of the first becoming last and the last becoming first. Why? Because they were the first ones to have everything that you did not. But then they became what they did not want to, because they thought of you as being last. But now they in that last line too. And no, ain't nobody gonna be the first or the last to receive it. We all gonna be first and last to receive it, because we standing in the line behind somebody who is before us, and we got somebody after us. They in front of me, they first. I'm next. They last. And somebody always got next when it's something that's in motion. That's why we can see that the support that we get from the Most High, as the children of the Most High, the seeds of the Most High, the word that's living of the Most High, through the vibration and word, sound, power, light that come through with our light or dense matter, that all matter, right? That we got to support each other too. I'm still a child of the Most High God. I need that support, but I need my support team to show up, who said that they were going to do that for me as an adult child, or maybe I need to emancipate myself. Right? So now that we know that we can emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, thanks to the words of great late Bob Marley, but we knew that before because we were already there. We didn't need that term. But now that we have got into the business portion of the terms, we have to. Now, whether that's on an individual level or a collective level, what's going to happen? Because nothing's going to stop people from supporting one another. They're just going to form a new group with ideas that support what it is that they think should be carried out. So what happens? They're just building another system. It's just a different plant. But if you're not all living on the same reserve, right? What I'm saying about reserve, because that is the structure of where you have more than 10 acres that is allotted to a certain group or class of people. Now the spirit said, You talking about this out of this law. There's more than just what it is that you can bring, Sister Raven. Because somebody want that big mama energy. And I know my big mama, she didn't play. She walked with a machete. When she had to clean the drains, she told me what to do. I said, why we gotta go out there like that with that? Because you don't know where a snake may be. Snakes know how to swim. I thought they was only in the grass. Daddy told me I had to cut the grass to see the snakes. So I knew how to mow the lawn early. Well, Grandma told me you gotta know how to walk out there in the water when there's a flood because the snake can swim too. What kind of snake is that, Grandma? Water moccasin. You don't know in our parts. So we out there with the machete clearing the drain that flooded the street. She was the hero of the neighborhood. She didn't let it get to the point to where the water would come into the house. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and get my book that Daddy God Sky man. You can't refuse what you wrote. Oh, it's a love language on the floor. What is this one? Loyalty. That's very important to me. If you can't be loyal off top, if you say you love me, you that's what you're gonna be, because that's what I'm gonna give. When I say I love you, I love you. And that definitely bring my loyalty with it. Now, this is this stuff that I already got stuff on there. Look at this. Crosswalk changes to program numbers and titles. This is the catalog of federal domestic assistance. We're dealing with support, 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 support is there. Because if it was not the truth that somebody was receiving it, it would not be here. They told you what? The pen was mightier than the sword. It took a pen to write this before they printed it, right? For the record. Because some stuff do get recorded, then printed. Thanks to modern technology, I don't have to write my book anymore. I can do an audio book. But it's always good to have this for reference, because you don't know that modern technology, people can tamper with what it is that you're saying already. If you are not making those imperfections yourself and you can say, this is the word that I said wrong when I said it, why is that talking so perfect? And I'm glad that I made the mistakes that I made in this video, because I know what I'm already dealing with. So it'll make me have to say it over again. We started out with the root chakra, but I said sacral wrongly and started reading it. And then I had to look at it. What I was pointing at, what I said, it clicked. Oh, something happened. I know I had a block in my crown chakra. Instantly was sitting like that. And I hit the bell. And we got that cleared up and went right into it. Because the read out the book was already open before we developed the energy. But that's what it is that was there with the sixes in this chapter of family law is dealing with child support. But now we pass the low level people on child support, which will be us supposed commoners, or us who would be considered casualties easily. Those of us who have been prisoners of war, or those of us who have suffered through slavery, or possibly still going through it. Catalog of federal domestic assistance. This was in 2015, but they just reallocated some of the information. That's why this one was rendered to be damaged from Southern University at New Orleans, where I obtained this book from my daughter going there to do her leave testing. Wherever I can get, when it's supposed to be for free, I'm going to get it. But I know when I picked up these books that it was because I was seeking this knowledge that the ancestors from above came down and let me be there where I needed to be at. With everything along this journey, but even the words that I've spoken on other people's platform, reading what it was that my elders, because see, the elders are still living. The ancestors are living, but they're not physically hands-on in this realm. Physically hands-on. They can't pick up a book for me. I got to do it. They can lead me to it, but they got to message. These got to be ordered to be where you need to be. So this is what we're going to do. We're dealing with our big daddy, right? Papa, come through. Let me see through your eyes, through your glasses. I'm calling on my ancestor, my papa, my daddy in the sky. They want me to not? Why would I stop when that's all y'all doing? Why would I stop? Why would I stop when I know what mine stood for? I ain't. He come from a new road. A mounds. You know how we get down. It was already showed you. From all four corners of the earth, we come into the center. And I'm going to be that center. Right? I'm a mother porter, right? But no, we on a motherboard. So we going to flatten it out. But guess what? It ain't square because it's a rectangle. I'm laughing because I heard in my mind come up. Izza, I'm giving out to you. Paying homage, Izza. Izza said, yeah, Raven, tell them you better get them some. Represent what they okay. So on the opening, I'm gonna take these off after I read because I know I've been misreading a lot of stuff. What? Come on, fingers. Which one of these? 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 All right. That's not. I'm okay, so the reports, these are all grants that are in this book that are allotted for your domestic assistance. Now, it's starting to make me think like, is the domestic assistance for everyone or is it just for specific people or how do you get regulated? This is volume 1. So I did open up the right one at the right time, but the sections is this. Okay, federal agency is Federal Voting Assistance Program, Department of Defense. Let me look for another one. Let's see. The federal agency. This is all dealing with military. And I feel like we not there yet. But this is what the book was opened up on. So it may be beneficial to one of us. Okay, so this is the federal agency, Federal Voting Assistance Program, Department of Defense. Authorization 10 USC 2358 Research Development Projects. 10 USC 1566. 10 USC 1566A Executive Order 12642. 42 USC 1973 FF ET section. The objective of this, I'm only going to read the objective because we need to move on to family business. To establish and ensure successful, sustainable, and effective methods to improve voting systems for voters protected by the Uniformed and Overseas Citizen Absentee Voting Act. Increase the percentage of ballots successfully returned by the UOCAVA voters to be either equal to or greater to that of the general population. And 3, collect and analyze data to increase the effectiveness of absentee voting procedures and systems for voters protected by the UOCAVA. And they have types of assistance. They have project grants. The applicant eligibility is applicants are encouraged to develop ballot delivery systems and streamline procedures for the processing of absentee voting materials for voters covered by the UOCAVA. Now, that's just for y'all. Let's get on to some other stuff. All right. Oh, wait. This is something that was highlighted. So we wasn't too far from that. Wait, hold up. Yeah, we wasn't too far from that, but look how that opened back up. Now I knew it was something that's in here. It said the land buyback program for tribal nations. Buyback program, federal agency, Office of Secretary, Department of the Interior. Authorization section 2212B3C of the Indian Land Consolidation Act, ILCA, and the settlement agreement in Cable versus Salazar as confirmed by the Claims Resolution Act of 2010, Public Law 111 291 under the ILCA. Ain't come up all this time. I've been speaking a whole lot now. You want to come up, but you get snide because I got that vibration, good vibration. Water right there, which has been tuned. Under the ILCA 25 USC 2212B, the provisions of the Indian Self-Determination and Assistance Act P.L 9363.8. Come on, Papa. Watch over us. Watch over us. Okay, the provision of the Indian Determination and Assistance Act. The provisions of the Indian Self-Determination and Assistance Act, P.L. 93-638, do not apply to the agreements. So, for whoever is in the land buyback program for the tribal nation, the provisions of the Indian Self-Determination and Assistance Act do not apply to them. When you're dealing with the land buyback, right? The objective: to work in partnership with eligible tribes to reduce the number of fractional interests in trust or restricted lands by purchasing fractional interests from willing sellers and transferring them to tribes. Do I need to read that again? I think I am. Just because that trying to get in my throat from chakra blockage. But it's not going to stop. The objective is to work in partnership with eligible tribes, not one tribe, tribes with an S, to reduce the number of fractional interests in trust and restricted lands by purchasing fractional interests from willing sellers and transferring them to tribes. That's what the grant is for. Types of assistance: cooperative agreements. So it's just an agreement. Do we get clear on that? Anyone who is out there watching, thank you. Like this video, share, subscribe to my channel. There will be more like this coming. I know I don't give y'all notification enough time for the log in and be watching with me, but somebody gonna watch this afterwards. I don't know if I'm being banned by shadows or lights and darkness and wickedness in high places or low. But however it go, I'm still going to put it out, because at one point in time, I didn't want to even speak nothing about this, because I was thinking about what repercussions would come against me for this type of information. And while we still fighting to be reparated, is a cooperative agreement. So how do we buy something back with an agreement? We ain't talking about numbers even in that. Because that meaning is just cooperating. That's why it's called doing something random. You know who got my land. That random act of kindness is going to be just giving it back. Or who think they got my land. Because my land, where my land at, where them new roads at, if you ain't from there, you ain't getting there. They know who is who. You try to go there and do something, even if you got paperwork and you ain't who you supposed to be in sight, because they know who they supposed to see. You're going to have a problem. Now, the use and the use the uses and the use restrictions. Funds may be used to enter into cooperative agreements with eligible tribes. Funded activities are restricted to activities supporting the purchase of fractional interest in the trust and or restricted lands. Okay, so those funding activities is like what you think about fundraisers and stuff like that to be able to um gather money and be donation for philanthropists and stuff like that. They won't have to do that because whatever it is that's agreed and come into agreement with through this particular section will be rendered directly to whoever it is that is agreeing to sell back that land. Okay. Now, the eligibility is restricted to federally recognized Indian tribal governments with jurisdiction over fractionated lands as identified in the Land Buyback Program for Updated Tribal Nations, November 2014 status report. So that's why this is dated 215. Now we know I got this last year. So these coming out again. My big chief will golden crown. He won't bow down on a dirty ground. Why did the Chiefs win? Why I'm saying that? I told you the Chiefs was gonna win. Why I'm saying that? Because of whatever was in the energy. What the collective have been calling for. Balance. We seen that come out. Got 3 balloons on it. Now, this is telling us that that's what they were doing then. But they had to revise the law. Why? Because a whole lot of things has changed. And they know that they have changed because people who once thought that they were not from America their entire life or their entire lineage has found out that they are. Just because you were an indentured servant that didn't get paid didn't mean that you came from another land. Let's get that understood. The only thing that we know actually is the fact that when it comes to the harsh treatments that was put upon people, it was those that look like us. Mainly, they don't have no other recordings of nobody else being done as harsh as we were on this land. They ain't got the pictures. And if they have pictures exist, you ain't about to see that. Because they ain't going to let us see it. Because it would be the reverse side. You think the psychology of that would be not devastating to a group of people who assume privilege over another? If you can show so many people like me doing them the same thing that they did to the ones that look like me, even if they did come from here like me or not, they're not going to show that. Because that would definitely change so much more of the game. But we know what it is that we have seen and have been told. The word was first. Then we wrote it down. We the living word. And we wrote us down. But now it's time for writing us up. And not like the kind they do in the principal office. when you see in a disciplinarian. And we're going to write the other people up in that particular way. Because the principalities that has been ruling so long are so wrong. And we tired of being tired. We're not tired anymore because we know that they got some people on demon time. Y'all talk about them all the time. Anybody born after 1985? Come here, ready and willing, participating for, excuse my language, the shits. So many of them already feel like they ain't shit to lose but their life. And a lot of them been losing that for no reason. So why wouldn't they do it for a cause? Whole lot of them, I hear somebody say the word. It's time. Is what they saying. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm doing this. So we can have order when it's time. It's time. When it's time for me to play my part. Nobody else can play my role. We all have our own individual signature. You preset. You want to be simulated? What simulation already have a code on everything that it put in the simulation? Am I wrong or I'm right? No, I ain't nothing. I'm just telling it what I know. I'm not the programmer. Nah. What else goes along with this? Applicant eligibility is restricted to federally recognized Indian tribal governments with jurisdiction over fractionated lands as identified in the Land Buyback Program for updated tribal nations, not one, nations with an S, November 2014. 2014 status report. Beneficiary eligibility. Federally recognized Indian tribal governments as identified in the Land Buyback Program for Tribal Nations, November 2014 status report. Credentials, documentation. No credentials or documentations are required. This program is excluded from coverage under 2 CFR 200 subpart E, cost principles. So I would have to look into that. This is for y'all who do what y'all do. Y'all got to do y'all part. I'm playing my part. Don't keep vexing me, because I got a whole lot I got to do. I'm not just on this here thing. I'm trying to do stick and move on the ground. But somebody say you can't just stick and move on the ground. You got to do it everywhere, this and that, whatever. Now I'm doing it right here, but this time I'm going to do it so I can do my part so y'all can do what y'all do. Playback, clip, subscribe, like, and share for everybody to do what they're going to do. Now we know this it's going to be revised. But y'all still go to the 15152 Land Buyback Program for Tribal Nations that has been revised because this book is outdated. This was in 2014 where these statutes were still good up until 2022. Excuse me. It's like, ooh, that was so filling. I feel like I say, oh yes, that was food for the soul right there. Now that's what we're gonna do on our motherboard. We got good fruit growing. Our seeds been planting them good. And that's why we getting that fulfillment. Feeling, right? Excuse me. Now, the pre-application coordination. It is recommended that eligible tribal governments interested in entering into a cooperative agreement first contact the Land Buyback Program for Tribal Nations Buyback Program. Technical assistance is available to tribes. Environmental impact information is not required for this program. This program is excluded from coverage under EO E dot O dot 112.372, right? And it says the application procedures. This program is excluded from coverage under the 2 CFR 200 uniform administrative requirements, cost principles, and audit requirements for federal awards. Tribal governments should contact the buyback program for application procedures. Award procedures. A cooperative agreement will be made to an eligible entity in the specific amounts and for the specific purpose set forth in the signed agreement. Just like I was saying before I even got down to that point without knowing it, that's what a cooperative agreement is. Don't you understand? You ain't coming up with no money. You got to present yourself accordingly. Now, what that mean? You know you have, say, your family already in an area, your tribe already in a specific area, and they got something adjacent to that area where that land is that's fractionated with that portion with what you have. But to obtain more of that space, because you know that it's not occupied, it's just rural area, you do what you got to do in it. Y'all do y'all part. I'm gonna read on. Okay, where we was at. Award procedure. A cooperative agreement will be made to an eligible entity in a specific amount and for the specific purpose set forth in the signed agreement. Deadlines not applicable. So I'm saying that because I know specifically I had a one-on-one with somebody about this here. Somebody who I feel like I could trust. Felt like I could trust. But tried to do everything to try to make me feel like I wasn't who or what it was that I said I was. Because I ain't tell nobody. They tried to make me be everything that I ain't tell them I was. I told you what I was going to do. I told you what I was not going to do. But you thought that I was just saying it just to be saying something. I told you even about what I know versus what I believe or what I was indoctrinated to believe. Right? But now I'm seeing with my daddy eyes. See? These are glasses he had on when he went to go do whatever he needed to do, take care of his business. I seen him around when he paid his tithes, when he getting a number for his trifecta, if you want to play a superfecta or whatever it was, filling out his paperwork, signing his tithes to pay the church. Did that faithfully. Did that before he bought his medicine. Probably didn't even need the medicine because he ate aloe vera every day. He had a big aloe vera growing out in front of the yard this wide. And they always stay with a whole bunch of bad babies around it. We take them, give them to different people. And when the seed grow out the top of it, it almost look like how this here grow from this orchid trying to heal back. It grow up from there, and at the top they're gonna fall over, sprout out like this. They red. They look like capsules, like pills. You eat them every day. I had to taste one. It ain't really that bad as the snapback that come with it, right? So get off that. Now I'm in my daddy eyes on a new road, new beginnings. Ain't nothing gonna hold back. I already know what's for me, and I'm just saying this to whoever, if anybody think they could project something that will make me lose anything that I already got. You can't take something from somebody that's already theirs, just like a lover, just like a twin flame, just like a soulmate, just like a karmic person in their life. If it's for them, it's for them. They got to receive all of that, and they will. And I'm ready for all of mine because I know what good I have put out, no matter who may project. But I have the protection came up on the board. Now let's go. Deadlines is not applicable. That means there are none. The range of approval, disapproval time, none. It will vary by application. Appeals. Contact the Land Buyback Program for Tribal Nations appeal information. Renewals. Contact the Land Buyback Program for Tribal Nations for renewal and extension information. Formula and matching requirements. This program has no statutory formula. Matching requirements are not applicable to this program. MOE requirements are not applicable to this program. Length and time phasing assistance. The period of performance for the cooperative agreements will be dependent on the activities to be funded and is specified in agreement terms and conditions. See the following for the information on how assistance is awarded, released. Funds may be advanced or disbursed. Fund payments frequently will be determined on case-by-case basis. Reports. Program reports are not applicable. Cash reports are not applicable. That means nobody can get in your business. This between you and the tribe in the grant funding department. The SF 425 Federal Financial Report is required as dedicated by agreement terms and conditions. Final reports are due within 90 days of the completion of the termination of agreement. The performance report is required as directed by the agreement terms and conditions. Final reports are due within 90 days of the compilation of the termination of agreement. Audits, they have records. Now, see with the audits, in ordinance with the provision of 2 CFR 200, Subpart F audit requirements. 9 federal entities that expand financial assistance of $750,000 or more in federal awards will have a single or program specific audit conducted for that year. 9 federal entities that expand less than $750,000 a year in federal awards are exempt from federal audits requirements for that year, except as noted in 2 CFR 200.503. Cooperative agreements are also subject to inspection and audit by Interior Office of the Inspector General, buyback program officials, or any other authorized representative of the federal government. Now, a lot of y'all saying y'all don't want the federal government in y'all business or whatever, but how the hell are they gonna give you your land back if you don't go through them? You gonna go take it back? What is it time for? If we saying that we are orderly and we always have been, then we gotta stand up for what it is and take our order back. That's why it's showing me with the 11 coins on here and the one me. And that one would be you. Cause you me. So if you try to stop me from having, then you knocking yourself definitely out of it. You know who I'm talking to. Right now, I'm talking to somebody specifically, and I'm not about to call out no cards. I ain't calling out no names. I saw you before. That's why I stayed with you, to get you to not do what you thought you could do without me. And I'm just saying that because the feeling, the feel me, my vibe, recognizing my tribe. And then I had to think about it. Sometimes your dreams be right, but it be the opposite way. The only one who could hurt somebody is somebody who could get close to them, close enough to them for them to do that. And I'm not gonna break the fast. I'm gonna just let all of what's moving around. It's like, if it was something that was inside of me that I had to capture, right? And going spiritual, supernatural, right? What I already put inside of me, everything I done ingested in this whole year. Cause see, we coming up on April, about to be a new year. The start of the new year last year, I cried my eyes out because of feeling somebody else's pain, being so much of an empath. To where it did try to cause me a whole lot of pain. Didn't say he wasn't. He said, I didn't tell you, think about my daddy, that you weren't going to be tried through the fire. I told you that you was going to come out unscathed, rising like a phoenix out of the ashes. Here today. So we know what we got to do. I'm playing my part. Don't try to count my motion. You got to make sure your motion ain't causing the commotion in the ocean, these ethers, right? He ain't tell him to stir it up. He said, stir it up, little darling. Now, which one of y'all men's calling y'all other men's a darling? Your man's in them, darling. And Big Mama gonna call everybody darling. But we know when Big Papa called somebody darling, he sure definitely wasn't talking to his sons and them. So let's get that clear. We are now at the records. Tribes must preserve, protect, and manage all fiduciary trust records created and or maintained during its participation in the buyback program. Additionally, the tribe must store and permanently retain all fiduciary trust records, active and inactive. Oh, excuse me, that was full, so full right now. at the tribe's expense and with full unlimited access thereto by the department, or allow such records to be removed and stored at the American Indian Record Repository in Lenox, Kansas. Lenexia. Lenexa. Lenexia, Kansas. So that's where y'all need to go. You American Indian, or you foundational Black American, or you Aboriginal American, or you Indigenous American, or you Native American. It's up to you to decide. But don't tell me what I know. I'm not about to let now one of y'all classify me, especially if you are constantly in cell fighting over who was or was not first or last. You ain't handling no business. And you wondering about what I'm doing. Don't worry about what I'm doing. You saw what I was doing. I know how to do that best first because that came already in my code. I wouldn't have to be sitting here doing this here if you and your mans them knew how to make sure that the other mans them kept their word. Nigga kind of trying to come through my mirror. And I don't care what nigga he was, a white one or black one, Spanish or Mexican, whatever other nigga y'all could call y'allself. But I caught it and I put a stop to that. I ain't about to even be in that kind of light. Would even think about it. Because when I go to sleep, I ain't never tell none of y'all, even if I had a hard day and my dreams wasn't fulfilling to me, I don't know of a horror. I've been stopped having horror dreams when I was a child. As a matter of fact, as a teen, they had one. I said about that, but that was involving my twin flame. And I'm trying to figure out who was who. Because I know who had the body and shape of what and what. But now I'm almost thinking, was it really him who I seen that was the one that was not the one? Because he could have shaped into a whole nother light. And the one that I thought was the wrong color that I've been looking for the whole time could have been a different one. Because it was two. But then I seen it again later on in life. It wasn't the same way. But that's what I'm talking about when it comes to who is who. That's all y'all do is fuss over who is who. Nobody getting busy. But then you begging when this here is already set up for you not to have to beg. All you have to do is work and be honest. But then they want to talk about who lying. Or when Miss Raven said, find me one who have not or will not tell a lie. And I say, if you find that one, I will praise him or her and call them the Most High God alone. I see how y'all come backhanded, y'all, but that's for the clout. So we gonna do it. But if I do it, then I'm gonna call out some names. I'm gonna call y'all one by one. Because I don't want nobody else involved in it. It ain't fair of a fight. I don't believe that for my tribe, when we spar one on one. But I know how cowards roll in packs. And there ain't no wolves. There ain't no dogs. They're a human being that love to jump on bandwagons. But I know about those who didn't have to jump on no wagon because they single-handedly had their own horse. Yeah, all my uncles them they had their own horses out there in the country where they grew up in Opelousas. And if I let them come on this thing, when everybody do start coming in to talk about what I already grew up hearing about my people and our culture and the way they grew up, they had connection with their horses. And the horses spoke to them when they was somewhere they wasn't supposed to be. They wouldn't bring them. And that come from the driver, the rider of the horse, not from me, my mouth, because I'm still trying to figure out how they gonna get money out of dead horse mouth. Now tell me how you do that. When the horse was the one who told my uncle not to go to that tree because it had dead money up under there. He wouldn't let him protect it. You have to. That's why I'm gonna have to do a story time tell, ghost story time tell, spiritual story time tell from Opelousas boys, and let you know what it is, why I know what I know, and who I got. My elders, they ain't crossed nowhere. And guess what? The one who I'm talking about now, we were just talking over the Super Bowl, and he told me about his horse. But then we talked some more. But that's why I told him I know what I know too. On the Chiefs and the Eagles, right? This stream about to end, y'all, because I only got 2 minutes left. Do what y'all gotta do. Section 15152 land buyback program. You need to seek information for you that is at the American Indian Records Respiratory in Lenexa, Kansas. I love y'all. Be safe. Thank y'all for paying attention. Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up always. If y'all can do that for me, I know I can get 100, 1,000 views and all of that on my shorts. What's going on with these? This is where the most information y'all get from me, the most talking y'all get from me, that other side that y'all so lovingly want to see. Thank you for tuning in. That 1 minute is hitting, 60 seconds is it. Thank y'all for coming to the Love Garden. We're planting seeds of love. We're weeding out what doesn't need to be. And we on a new road, baby. Chiefs over the Eagles. Let me tell you, I'm going to have something coming up for y'all about the Oracle of Delphi and Demetrius. And then we're going to go into the 12 tribes of Israel. And is the true Israelites the tribe from Ephraim, the lost tribe? Have a good one, you all. Love y'all. Stay safe. Be blessed.